welcome to Washington D.C. guys. We're going to show you around some of the sites and talk to you a little bit about the lost symbols of Washington. Hi, what's up guys? We're at the Capitol building, Washington D.C. We're going to do more some stuff about lost symbols, Masonic symbols, hidden symbols, underground passages, 500 miles of Congress Library, which people don't know anything about what's in those archives. Very similar to the Vatican in Rome with the secrecy. And apparently to get a book out of the Library of Congress, it comes along on a conveyor belt and up a chute because the library is so huge. So we're going to head further down and get you a better view of the Capitol behind us.
And I'm not going up the storm in the Capitol or that because the FBI building is just down there.
It's, yeah, right there.
But the thing is, we're going to do this, but if for some reason this doesn't come up, I'll explain to you in the next clip.
Yeah.
Why.
Okay, so Andy is going to talk to us a little bit about the New World Order and what that means.
Yeah. Like I say to you before, when we were in Rome, we filmed a couple of clips, and when we went to load them up, nothing on it. Just the sound and everything. So someone stopped us from doing that when I was talking about the Illuminati and the New World Order and all that. Now, massively talking here about the New World Order and all that lot, all the symbolism in this place, the way this mall, or whatever they call it, it goes from the Capitol down to the Lincoln Memorial. It's all very Illuminati, Masonic symbolism, obelisks, all the different, you know, the phoenix, the owls and everything like that. Yeah, I mean, basically what they talk about with this New World Order is people who are above presidents, prime ministers and everybody. Basically, we're talking about the people who've got the money, who run the world, who decide when there's going to be a war, they decide who should be the next president, prime minister, who should be the price of oil, the price of everything that we do. And this is, I mean, people say it's only a theory, it's people who are losing their marbles who come up with this lot. But there are a lot of evidence to prove it in symbolism, especially here. I mean, supposedly, I mean, I'm not saying that I'm right with this, but you have it in Paris, where from the Louvre down to the obelisk there, if you place that map over a design of the Temple of Karnak to the Temple at Luxor, it fits perfectly. Now, I have been told that from the Capitol downwards towards the obelisk, the George Washington Monument fits exactly the same. Now, make of that what you want, but there's too many different things. And Alison came up with this today. From the Capitol down to the Lincoln Memorial, on one side you have the White House, and on the other side you have the Jefferson Memorial. And when you look at it from above, it makes a perfect cross, and it just seemed very, very coincidental. Somebody must have thought all this through, yeah, without a doubt.
Well, the obelisk down there that you can see is the George Washington Monument. The obelisk, which was always the symbol for Freemasons. We have one in London, we have one in Paris, we have one here, one in Rome, which we did last year on our Angels and Demons symbology shoot, which if you want to see that, you need to go way back to the beginning of our channel. So whilst we were filming the symbology of Rome, the Masonic symbology of Rome, We went down one or two government streets and our camera was just shut down, really, not by us and not by battery. What we filmed wasn't allowed to be put out, so we're partly expecting the same problem here. Maybe we have more freedom here to film stuff and talk about what we believe in. I believe that Donald Trump is a very fair and open-minded president, so we're going to get around all of these objects and talk to you about the symbology, the secrets, the underground passages which supposedly lead from the Capitol, which is just behind me, down to the obelisk you can see in front of us, and right the way across to the White House itself. So apparently, according to The Lost Symbol, the book by Dan Brown, if anybody remembers the 40-foot octopus, the giant squid that got washed up on the beach in Sumatra about 10 years ago, apparently that is here underground, and the Smithsonian scientists and professors have got that here and are looking at it. And I believe there are other things which have washed up and been found on various beaches around the world have also turned up here underground, where only the scientists and the professors from Smithsonian can go have access to, because these things are not for public view, being that they shouldn't really be here at all. So we're going to show you around Washington D.C, so stay with us while we voice our theories. Okay, so supposedly there are passages underneath Washington D.C from this Capitol building where Congress meet, the senators come and make their decisions on things concerning the American government, all the way down to the obelisk and all the way down to the Abraham Lincoln Monument, which we're going to show you those later in the programme, all the way across to the White House. And apparently you can go along, or certain individuals can go along these passages from A to B without having to come up to the surface. But we did see a cavalcade of cars coming up here today with one big black car and the flags flying, so we assume that was Donald Trump, the president himself, coming up here for some meeting. And but the Library of Congress has 500 miles worth of books in the archives, unseen by the general public. Only people with certain passes who work for the American government are allowed in there. Same like the Vatican archives, which when we went to Rome last year we filmed on the outskirts of the Vatican to briefly tell you the same story. So what we want to know is, what are they hiding in these archives that they don't want people to see? What are the Vatican archives holding, and what are these White House and Capitol building Congress libraries holding as well that they don't want people to see?
Exactly. There's a lot of mystery going on, and there's a lot of things going on that we don't know, and we probably never ever find out, because a lot of people who get close to the truth seem to disappear, or they have accidents, and it's all shoved under the carpet and it's down as accidental death. People say, nobody do that, nobody do this. No, we're talking about powerful people here. We've got powerful, ruthless people who are above the presidents, who are above the governments, who are above everything else. And it's like I've said before, these people are only interested in themselves. The specific groups, people talk about, and I'll explain that later on at some point, about the Bohemian Grove groups that meet up, the Bilderberg group, talking about Illuminati sort of things, extremely powerful people. And the Bohemian Grove thing is a lot of ex-presidents are members of it. It's talking oil billionaires, big banking owners and things like that, people who decide the price of everything, people who decide what's happening in the world. But part of the secret ceremonies is they do rituals there, and nobody seems to know nobody will know what these rituals are, involving a giant owl. Now, supposedly this city, a a lot of the buildings, when you look at them, and some I've seen a programme about it, that at night, a lot of the buildings, when you look at them, look owl-like. But I'll explain a bit more about that a bit further on.
Okay, so this is Union Station, the main train station, the Amtrak train station from Washington D.C. A lot of protesters sitting on the steps right over there. And on this side, all the world flags. And you can hear the train in the distance. This is one of America's big railroad stations.
There's some there's done too. Metropolitan is too. They all belong to cover them too. It's all on video with the government too. I even put the tax at the bottom reach too. Hey man, I'm telling you, you made a new law to try to shut me up. If you got exposed, you got to bring that law, right? Yeah. I'm telling people this stuff. Jersey to Maryland with different campus, and this stuff to all of them. You get here clear. Yeah. Metropolitan stop.
Check this out for a train station. Look at the Knights Templars up there. So this is the Union Station, Washington D.C. And there's Knights Templars all the way around, Andy. And look at
seems a bit strange, isn't it?
What, that there's Knights Templars like everywhere? Yeah, well, you know what the Phoenix is the sign of Masons, but you need to check, has it got two heads? If it's a double-headed Phoenix, then it's the higher order.
I can't.
If it's a one-headed Phoenix,
I can't.
yeah. So look how beautiful that is, guys. The ceiling and everything is just awesome. So we had to show you that while we're on our way down to the metro, and then we can get the underground down to the obelisk to film that for you, and around the Smithsonian Institute area. We had to show you this train station.
Yeah.
This is on the level of the Grand Central in New York. Okay, so we just got the metro down to Freedom Plaza. And Andy, what was the metro driver like? Go on, do the impression.
I'll be honest with you, I couldn't understand what all he said was get off the ride and you can next stop is just getting keys. I mean, I'll be honest, I've done that on purpose. But yeah, I mean, it was just, I had a clue what he was on.
I had no clue what he was saying.
No clue what he was saying.
It sounded like somebody stuffed his mouth full of socks, wasn't it? And he was trying to talk.
Yeah, used to get on the train, he's going uptown, and you get off on the left, and he goes, the metro, I mean, yeah.
Alright, so the reason we're down here right now is because we've found another lost symbol of Washington D.C.
Yeah.
Alright, Andy, so tell us what you think this octagon-shaped symbol is for, because you study all this Aleister Crowley.
And is it being a hexagram? You've got a hexagram, which is probably a Masonic and occult symbol.
Yeah.
Because you have the ritual of the hexagram. But you've also got, it looks very similar to Priory of Sion thing, the fleur-de-lis,
yeah,
which is connected to the Da Vinci Code and all that lot. So I'm looking at and thinking that possibly something to do with all the Masonic symbols that this city is absolutely
because
loaded with.
That's Pennsylvania Avenue behind you there. At the bottom is where the White House is, and this is the presidential route which goes along up there to the Capitol building, which you can see in the distance. So if President Trump is going to be going up to the Capitol building, this is the road he will take. So it's all the presidents have taken this route in the past to go from A to B, but things are much more secure now, aren't they, Andy?
I mean, it's
Obviously,
I
with
mean,
what happened to him lately, with the assassination
Obviously.
attempt and everything, it's
for years, this road you could go straight through past the White House. Obviously, where things have changed, the security and everything like that, you literally can only go as far. This is about as far as you can drive, and then it's all security, dogs and everything like that, which you can understand. But we've come on a bit of a strange night, really, haven't we? Because just round the corner there's a theatre, and
Kamala Harris, the ex-vice president, is here.
Vice President Kamala Harris is doing two, like, obviously talks at a theatre just round the corner, and it's absolutely jam-packed with people.
Police everywhere around
security,
there.
police and everything, obviously, because she's
We'll have a
quite-
walk up and show people anyways.
Yeah.
Okay guys, so that's the theatre tonight where Kamala Harris, the Vice President of Biden, is doing a speech tonight for people. And she was the lady who ran as Donald Trump's opponent in the last elections. So she's performing, well, I don't say performing, she's talking there tonight, a question and answer session, a bit like our British question time. It's like a question and answer session with the audience, and they're filming it probably, and it will probably go on a TV programme similar to our British question time. But you can see the police presence like this. It's like this everywhere around Washington D.C, wherever the president or any of the people who work around the president are going to be. I'll just give you an idea of how tight the security is here. Okay guys, this is the famous Willard Hotel beside the White House. This hotel is where Martin Luther King wrote his speech, I Have a Dream. So it's got some real significant history attached to it. So, Andy, we just went to Freedom Plaza where we saw a 8-pointed octagonal star on the floor, and also in that same square, which you couldn't get to because of the skateboarders, there is the pyramid, the symbol of the pyramid, isn't there, with the eye,
Yeah.
and a couple of other American seals. So what do those seals mean, and those symbols on the back of a dollar bill?
The dollar bill, there's like a pyramid, there's, which you get on the $1 bill. It's the pyramid, the old seeing eye. Now, for a lot of people don't know, hidden in the $1 bill, and it's extremely hard to find. I looked the other day and I couldn't find it again. I did find it one, a very, very small owl symbol.
Really, an owl?
Which is supposedly a symbol of the New World Order. They have meetings at Bohemian Grove, and they do rituals to this massive wooden owl. Nobody knows what the rituals are because it's just so secretive. Nobody from the outside, other than people invited and security and Secret Service, would ever get in there. It's so protected and covered and everything like that. It's members of the big banks of the world, the richest people in the world, some ex-presidents. I know ex-president wise, I know George Bush is a member of Bohemian Grove. It's basically where all these decisions in the world are made.
So if I read this quote now by Aleister Crowley, can you tell us how this links up with the Masonic culture? So one of his quotes, one of the writings of Aleister Crowley, great rituals are deeply feared by lesser minds.
I think what he's saying is there is a fear of the occult. And basically what he's saying is people who don't understand it, who have no knowledge of it, are frightened of it, where the occult is more... A lot of occult stuff connects with Masonic symbols and things like that. It's very interactive. A lot of occult Masonic.
What does the word occult mean? Can you remember? I did look it up the other day, and it's got nothing to do with evil or devil worship, has it? It's meaning enlightenment or something like that, education.
Yeah, I mean a lot of occult rituals and thinking goes back as far as the ancient Egyptians, the pharaohs and the tombs and all like that, you know. And Masons, it was basically a business thing, how to get about originally in business, but occult practices go back centuries.
Yeah, they do.
Really. And a lot of occult practices, Crowley's occult practices, were a lot to do with in ancient Egypt. I mean, he wrote the Book of the Law in the Great Pyramid.
Yeah.
He got it through from, his wife got it through from Rose Crowley, got it through from a spirit guide called Iwas. I don't know whether I've pronounced that right or not. That's how it is. It's spelled A-I-W-A-S-S. And he got through that. She came through and she gave him this name of this pharaoh. And basically over 2 nights he wrote the Book of the Law, which is basically anybody who follows Thelema, Crowley's, the sort of religion that Crowley made. The Book of the Law is like a Christian people's Bible. That's what it is. But this whole...
Talking of ancient Egypt, we're going to go on up to the obelisk.
Yeah.
Okay guys, so that's the obelisk, the George Washington Memorial, but I have to show you this. Look at this, guys. This is what they do here in America. They play games by night on the field. They're playing baseball and football, and all those lights you can see are all the different bands that people are wearing around their necks and around their wrists, the luminous footballs that they're kicking around there. The games go on even on the dark nights, even on the darkest of nights. Okay guys, so we're at the base of the obelisk, the George Washington Monument, and I'm just gonna... What are you doing in my shot? And get out of my shot. What are you doing? Why are you in my shot? Why are you in my shot? I was doing the piece and you walk into my shot.
Well, you weren't quite...
You walked into my shot.
You weren't quite so good on your...
What are you talking about? You walked clean into my shot, man. Anyway,
Who
just...
do you think you are, though?
You walked straight into my shot. You walked... I'll explain to people while I'm giving you a chimple. Alright, the reason we're doing that is because we watched a really funny piece on the news earlier. Some Democrat congresswoman had been recorded shouting and screaming at her staff because she'd been recorded to camera and the cleaner walked into her shot and she was well acting up, so he was just reenacting the whole thing.
So she wasn't having a go at me. I did it on purpose.
No, I did that Tuesday and Wednesday, so we've been and done that already. Anyway, we'll show you the obelisk. Top of it, all the way down to the base, and it's surrounded by American flags, and it's just pure incredible, the height, the size of it. Now these obelisks keep turning up here and there around the world. There's one in Paris, there's one in London, there's one in Rome, there's one here, and they always seem to appear in Masonic cities of the world. George Washington, who founded this city, was a Freemason, and this monument is to him. Now all the other presidents, their monuments are all like temple shaped or, you know, statues or whatever. He's the only one that's got this obelisk monument. So this symbolises enlightenment, and the tip of it symbolises eternal power. And when you look at this city, and when you're here in Washington D.C, you just get this feel of it is such a magnificently powerful city. It's super clean, it's really chilled out and laid back, not a bit like you would expect a capital to be. Everyone's like into all this kind of like peace, love and freedom thing, and they've got music going 24/7, and it's just one of the most chill out places for a city, and I think Andy agrees with me on that, that we can honestly say we've visited.
One thing I was going to say is it's like everything, all the buildings and all the monuments, there's a story behind them. It's like the Capitol Hill, the lady on top of the dome, I think they call her the Lady of Freedom or something like that. And somebody said, why is she pointing that in that certain direction? And he said, because the sun should never rise over freedom, and that's why she's facing the way she is. The sun should never rise over freedom, and so all the monuments are done in a way for a reason.
So we're going to head
He's thought that through.
to the World War II Memorial Waterfalls, but before we get down there, we'll give you a view of Capitol Hill from the obelisk. So we're going to walk up there now, and then we'll give you guys a shot of that from there, and then we're going to go down to this amazing World War II fountain monument that they have here. Okay guys, there's the Capitol building. We're at the obelisk. The reason there's a lot of shouting and singing and music going on right now is because our wonderful President Donald Trump has finally signed the peace agreement between Gaza and Israel right here in Washington D.C. yesterday. So it feels pretty amazing, and Andy was just saying very emotional too to be a part of that, to be here at a really historic occasion, isn't it, Andy, really?
It does, and you get that feeling that everybody seems to be smiling at each other, and
it's peaceful, isn't it?
It's strange, and people all probably looking going, but it's weird. Everybody seems to be more. I don't know.
I can imagine Woodstock feeling like this back in the day.
Yeah, it just feels. Everybody's happy with everybody.
Yeah.
It seems like there's
going to be peace. That's why Donald Trump has finally sorted out that Israel-Gaza situation.
And it's like,
I'm going to show you guys the skyline of Washington City itself, which does not have any skyscrapers. Now this reminds me very much of Christchurch in New Zealand, where we were at last year, and if anybody wants to watch the footage of New Zealand, if you go further back on our YouTube channel towards the beginning, we did some documentaries on pirates and things like that, and cannibals and Captain Cook throughout New Zealand just last year, and this skyline very much reminds me of that because they kept the skyline low. There were no skyscrapers, and I think the reason they do it here is because they want to focus more on the monuments that they have, the truly amazing monuments that they have here in this city. So that's the skyline of Washington D.C. back there. I'm just going to home in and show you the Lincoln Memorial, which we're going to walk up to that anyway. But this is the Lincoln Memorial, the Abraham Lincoln Memorial from a distance. So it looks like a temple of Rome. And this city was going to be called New Rome originally. But then they decided to name it Washington after George Washington, the first president, instead. So there's a really good vibe and atmosphere around Washington D.C. tonight because it's Thursday the 9th of October, and probably back home in the UK on the news you have known by now that Donald Trump has managed to sort out the peace agreements between Israel and Gaza. So now that every building is lit up here, and there are just concerts and people singing and lighting candles, and everyone's out doing the thing. Everyone's peaceful, no one's arguing, there's no one having to do at each other, no one's shouting at the skateboarders and nothing, you know what I mean? It's a really good atmosphere at the minute.
Out tonight, all the lights in the Capitol building all lit up.
All of them, yeah.
In the past few days, there's been nothing lit up or everything. The whole of the lights in every room, on the dome and the light at the top, everything's lit up. You know, it's
a historical moment, really, that they've managed to get this peace agreement signed between Gaza and Israel, and the hostages are going to be released soon.
And maybe people will start being a bit more tolerant towards each other.
We have a lot to learn from, these wars throughout the world. Okay, so we're walking on down to the World War II memorial, the fountains, which are pretty amazing. So we're going to go down there. But I just wanted once again to show you the Washington D.C. skyline.
Drinks, including drinks and liquor.
And as we walk by, again, the kids are all out playing football and baseball and stuff, with they've all got illuminous wristbands on and neckbands and illuminous footballs, illuminous baseball bats, and and you know what I like about America, what I absolutely love is this is what parks are for. You should be able to come into the park at night time and enjoy yourself like this. And back in England, the parks are pitch black and they're full of flipping hoodies and thugs and drug dealers hanging around every corner, and you're shit scared of having a walk at night through them. Here, everybody's out, and it will be like this until 1 a.m. Everybody's out. They're all out doing their sport. They're out cycling, skateboarding. There's music going on, and it's like, and this is not just this park at Washington D.C. This is the majority of the parks throughout the US. So those kids over there, all those red lights, are the kids playing football. They're not sitting in front of the flipping games at home, putting weight on and eating thousands of burgers.
And you've got the Jefferson Memorial over there.
Oh yeah, that's the Jefferson. Okay, let's get on that. So that memorial there, is for the third president, Thomas Jefferson. Very, very nice and very just man. Really believed in equality for everybody, be they black or white, be they male or female or anything. He really believed in equality for everything. So that monument is built for him. So I just wanted to give you a little picture of what it's like around here at night time. That clock tower over there, if I can get in on it, that's the Smithsonian Museum and Institute. Now that place takes up like 2 whole roads on both sides. Me and Andy have just spent 2 full days. One day in the American History Museum and one day in the Natural History Museum, and literally you could just come here for a week and just do the Smithsonian itself. So the obelisk is right up there. Okay, we're going to walk down to the fountain, which is right over there. Okay guys, I'm just going to take you into the World War II memorial. All these wreaths represent different states of America. Just look at what they do here for a war monument for the soldiers. Look at this. Is that all spectacular, Andy?
It is, because one side's for the war in the Atlantic, and then there's the other one for the war in the Pacific. Like the American.
Nobody has forgotten.
Like the war against Japan and stuff like that.
Okay, Andy, so is there anything else you can tell us about what you think about Washington D.C. and Masonic lodges? Is there anything you've picked up just walking around?
There's definitely a lot of the layout is laid out for a reason. And you're reading that book, Dan Brown's
The Lost Symbol.
The Lost Symbol. They were saying, I think it's the Capitol building, George Washington laid the foundation stone, he did some kind of Masonic ritual when he was doing it. Now you're saying about this so-called pyramid that's underneath the Capitol, underneath,
Yeah, there is.
underneath somewhere that we're not too sure about. I think it possibly is under there. It may not be a massive pyramid, but I think that's what it possibly is. But this whole city there's a lot of Masonic symbology in this city. You know, we went up to the, surprisingly it's called Alexandria,
Yeah.
which is
And there was an obelisk too there, a slightly different one to this one. It was wider, wasn't it, with a pyramid on the top?
George Washington Masonic Temple. Massive, huge place, you know, with all Masonic symbols in there. Yeah, this whole city it's a reason, everything is where it is in this city and this area. Everything is where it is for a reason. You know, it's not been like, oh, we'll put a monument up for this. Yeah, it's where it is for a reason, where it should be.
Yeah.
It's not slapdash. You
No.
know what I mean?
So I've got another Aleister Crowley quote here that relates to Masonic as well. So there is a shadow universe beyond this one, in a world from which I can also draw power.
Yeah, I think he's talking about when you get to a certain level of occult knowledge, Masonic degrees, occult levels, that there is, and I think the whole occult world is about connecting to that next level, in contact with things that are above us, things that give us enlightenment, give us higher power, give us more knowledge. And that's what a lot of occult and the sort of thing about gaining more knowledge, secret knowledge. And the more you learn, the more knowledge you get, and the higher up you go, the higher up you work. It's all about getting to that next step upwards. I think we've all, over time, with technology and everything, we've lost that ability to learn. Learn about the old ways. You know, things are too easy for us now. Things are too easy for us now. And the old occult ways, the old Masonic ways, you had to study and you had to learn hard, and you didn't get to that knowledge until you'd worked hard for it. It's like in the occult Masonic degrees, you have to work to that level, and then you get sort of keys to open different sets of knowledge. And when you attain the highest level, that's when you get supposedly enlightenment and everything like that. It's all about moving up to that, working hard to move. Like, it's not easy. It's not easy to get up to the top.
Similar, like to the Buddhist, really, I guess, the Dalai Lama.
Yeah, I mean, it's like that. It's like that. You're working to attain, because they're not going to give knowledge to otherworldly things to somebody who's just going to quickly sift through a book and say, oh yeah, I can remember that. No, you've got to attain them levels, and we're talking about attain. I mean, the hard, and Crowley's occult system, the yogic things, and all different types of, about numbers, neurology, and the stars, and different things. So it's I don't think there is another one who could achieve the things he achieved. You know, a lot written about him is rubbish. He was somebody who like a Joe, you know, and a lot of the stuff that was written about some of the things he did, he's probably made it up just for scandalous newspapers of that time, you know, to make him look out, to make him like be shocked. You know, and I have to still look at him anyway. You know, that's.
Okay guys, that's the amazing Abraham Lincoln Memorial, which we're going to climb up to it in a few minutes time and show you the inside. There's a huge statue of the President Abraham Lincoln on the inside. And these monuments are kept lit up all through the night. People can enjoy them 24/7. And surprisingly, there is no graffiti on Abraham Lincoln, and he does not have a cone on his head, which he would have if he was in the UK. And that's all I'm going to say about that. And I think Andy agrees with me on that. Mind you, Andy, having said that, some of our presidents and prime ministers do deserve to have a cone on their head and be covered in graffiti. So I'll give you guys a view of it before we go up all them steps and see the great man himself, who was responsible for building the railways in America. Go on, Andy, get it off your chest.
I was saying about him bringing these National Guards in.
You're talking about Donald Trump now?
Yeah. People are complaining about it, saying, oh, he's making the streets, you know, demilitarising the streets and stuff like that. Excuse me. I mean, all he's saying is, the police are busy enough. He's getting these to make the streets safer, get rid of the drug dealers, get rid of the drug users, get rid of the antisocial behaviour, and make the streets safer. Now, to me, the only people who'd be complaining about that are the people who are doing crime and antisocial behaviour. And maybe this is what we need for our country, something like that, to get rid of the scum off the streets, you know. And he's arresting people who are here illegally as well, getting rid of them. You know, maybe that's what we need to get rid of what's going on our streets. You know, it's like 9 o'clock at night here, in the middle of the park. It's all lit up. There's people walking round, people feeling safe walking through a park at night. In your own home, you don't even feel safe driving up to the shops late at night. You know, ridiculous.
Yeah, but I agree with Andy. You know, you come to these parks in the cities in America in the night and it's all well lit and clean and safe, and it's like, what the hell is happening to our country? Put some lighting on, Starmer. Come on, get them hoodlums out of the park and let the people walk around in peace and enjoy the natural beauty of the areas that they live in.
He doesn't care. And
this is what Donald Trump was trying to say to him when he came over to the UK. He was saying, spend it on your people, spend it on your parks, spend it on your town centres. There's not one boarded up building here, not one, not a single one.
No.
What the hell? No. What the hell is that Prime Minister of ours doing?
Yeah, you know.
Okay, Andy, so before we finish this lost symbol of Washington shoot, another Aleister Crowley statement. Before something holy, make yourself sacred. So what do you think about that relating to Masonic emblems again?
I think what he's trying to say is when you're doing occult Masonic rituals, take it seriously, because don't expect something higher to give you the wisdom, the knowledge of what's going on in the spiritual world. If you don't take it seriously, if you're not serious about it, anybody can open a book, read a ritual, and a lot of people do. Open the book, read the ritual, and expect enlightenment. No, you've got to take it seriously. You've got to put the effort in. You've got to make yourself look as though you want to get the knowledge. If you're doing it slapdash, then you're not going to get anywhere. You've got to take it seriously. If you're trying to put yourself in front of a higher spiritual plane, you've got to be taking it. You've got to take it seriously and put the effort in. And I think that's what he means by that. Don't expect things to happen without putting the effort in.
Yeah.
And that's what he means, I think.
A bit like all magic circles, really, isn't it? You've got to put the effort in and do the rituals on a regular basis for you to get results, whatever it is that you're working on.
It's like you see in these films, and you see, you know, they're going after the devil, and they stick a cross up, and it's like, well, yeah, no point sticking a cross, because if you don't really believe in it, and you haven't got the faith in that, total faith,
yeah,
it's never going to work. You know, it's the same with anything. If you haven't got total belief and faith in whatever religion you believe in, you're not going to get asking for help from whatever it is, Buddha, Muhammad, or whatever. Ain't going to happen, because he's just going to go, well, you don't really believe me. You want me help, but you don't really believe in me, so forget it. So you've got to have true belief in what you're doing. And when you're doing rituals, you've got to put the effort in.
Yeah.
Don't just expect things to happen. If you're just going, oh yeah, I better do something for that, because yeah, it's not going to work. You've got to do the preparation, get yourself mentally prepared, meditation, build your spirit, your inner peace, and build that up, build your belief up, and then start doing it when you're at a level where you can totally focus on what you're doing.
Yeah.
And that's
Okay, so before we finish, we're going to be moving on to Boston after this. I'm going to do Pirates of Boston, and Andy's going to do Witches of Salem up there. So just to conclude this programme on the lost symbols of Washington D.C., which was inspired by the Dan Brown novel. And people who follow us will know that we did the Angels and Demons in Rome last year. And he's just released a new book which is centred in Prague, so you know what that means, don't you? We're probably going to have to go to Prague now at some point, but there's supposed to be some really good graveyards in Prague anyway to do. And do you know what? We went to Arlington Cemetery, and here they've got like cemeteries and everything's white and everything, the lawns are mowed, and they have security guards on the gates, and there is literally no getting in to do paranormal. And that's why I think the Americans love so much our creepy spooky graveyards.
Yeah. I mean there we took photos of different
JFK's
things,
grave and things like that.
As for filming, no, I wouldn't.
You wouldn't do it, would you?
I wouldn't do it, but it is unbelievable.
Well kept.
It's an unbelievable place. I mean, the good thing I got to see though was the Kennedy graves.
Yeah.
Which was you saw the space shuttle.
The space shuttle pilots, the astronauts' graves from the 2003 and the one in the 90s that crashed.
And the monument for the Pan Am plane that crashed over.
Yeah, that's there.
That was quite emotional.
Yeah. So to finish off this particular story, from the obelisk up to the Capitol building, there are supposed to be underground passages between the Smithsonian Museum, lines both sides of the Mall, And the things that they cannot display, like I mentioned earlier on in the programme, the 40-foot squid that washed up on the coast of Sumatra is supposedly here, and the fish that went out of into extinction 40 million years ago, and they found one somewhere in the world, is also here. And the one thing that is supposed to be here under the Capitol building is a pyramid with a gold top, which only Masonic high-up individuals get to see. Maybe not even the president. People who so high up, they have the double-headed phoenix as their symbol. So we're going to leave it on that note, but we will obviously going to take you right now to the White House and say goodbye to Donald Trump and say goodbye to Washington D.C. and do our parting shot there. Okay guys, so that's the White House. Just want to say once again thank you to Donald Trump for making this a great city to visit and this to be a really great and safe country to visit. God bless you and may you live long and may you reign over this country for many years to come. And we've been here to witness some history. The peace between Gaza and Israel has been settled, and it's just a momentous occasion for the whole world to see some peace coming now. So once again we would like to thank this great President of America, Donald Trump, who we admire greatly. He was president the last time we were here in 2018 in San Francisco, and before that along the west coast of the USA he was president in his first term, and we're here again and in Boston and he's president again in the second term. So may you live long, and we hope to see you for many years to come be the president of this amazing country.